Welcome back to episode 7 of Generations Behind. My guys, how are we today? Tyler, I usually introduce Zach first. Tyler, how are you today?
I'm hot. Just got back from a camping trip. That was pretty fun over the weekend. Also went to too many games the previous weekend, and I picked up too many games, as you will see.
Yes.
But otherwise doing pretty well.
Sweet. And to the side of me, the newlywed, Mr. Zach Daly Beating. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Like you said, I just got married about a week ago. So doing well, and I'm not hot because my apartment is at a nice 71 degrees right now, Tyler. So I hope that makes you feel good.
Nice.
I'm feeling good.
Nice and crispy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, we're very excited and happy for you, bud. Super glad to see everything went lovely for you. Did you get to play any lovely games on your little honeymoon you went on, or did you take a break?
Well, I wouldn't say take a break. I definitely wanted to play games. I brought my Switch. I didn't have a whole lot of time. One morning, I woke up at like 5:30, and I played Paper Mario for like 30 minutes until I had to start the day. So I played a little bit of Switch, but
There you go. It's
played the
beauty
plane a
of
little
the
bit too.
Switch.
The plane, but I also just fell asleep on the plane. So
That's fair. I know whenever I fly, I can't focus on anything. I just have to turn my brain off. Like if I try to play a game or read, it's like automatic migraine. It's just I'm not meant to be in the air.
Yep.
But today we have a very exciting episode in honor of talking about Ocarina of Time last week. Thank you all for tuning into that. That episode's done very well. We are now going to be talking about our favorite N64 games. We're all fans of the N64, of course. There's a lot of haters for that console, but I think we all agree that it has a good select amount of games on there. So we're going to be talking about each of our individual fives, and then we're going to be using a point system to make a ultimate top 5 at the end to see which games truly reign supreme. Tyler, we know you love Diddy Kong Racing. I made sure not to put that in my top 5 because I refuse to let it be up there.
Wow. Zach, hopefully you came through for me.
I'll go into some of my Diddy Kong Racing thoughts soon and what we've been playing. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. As a reminder, in 4 weeks from this episode, so 2 episodes from this airing, we're gonna be doing our full episode dedicated to the Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. So that's gonna be a lot of fun if you guys want to play along for that. And other than that, I guess we can get right into the episode, right? So, our first write-in, because we did have an introductory write-in from a friend of Tyler's. His name is Patrick. He said, "When is the Final Fantasy episode?" Question mark. And then he had an emoji of a smiley face with sunglasses. I'll let you guys answer this. When do you think Final Fantasy is an appropriate game to be played on the show? That is a Herculean task. Especially if we want to be faithful and play the NES version or something.
Yeah, we playing Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, I'm assuming because it just says when is the Final Fantasy episode.
Yeah. I got it on my Switch on the whatever the remastered
The Pixel remastered
edition. Yeah. I haven't played it yet, but it's ready to go. So.
What do you think,
Hey,
Tyler?
I mean, whenever y'all are ready for it, I'm down to do a Final Fantasy. I mean, I
It
played
is-
Final Fantasy 1, and then I got all the way to 7. I didn't play any of those in between, so I don't know which Final Fantasy you want to do specifically, but...
You played 1, then 7? You didn't play 2 through 6?
Well, no, I played, 7 first. I played
Oh, okay.
7, and then that was when the remake thing was out, so I played 7, and then I played Crisis Core, then Remake, and then Rebirth.
Gotcha.
And then I went back and played one. Well, I played one before Rebirth, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely adore Final Fantasy 1. I've never finished the NES version, just because, it is the slowest, the most methodical. There's a lot of glitches and things that just don't work in it. It's not a very well-made game, as much as I appreciate it existing. But I have gotten the Platinum Trophy in the Pixel remaster, and back in the day, actually, when they used to have those exuberantly expensive iPhone ports where it was $20 for a Final Fantasy 1 remake on the iPhone, and it was really ugly graphics and all that. I actually played through that back in the day too, which is kind of cool. So I've played 2 major versions of Final Fantasy 1. If kind of just thinking of the game as a whole, it is probably top 20 game of all time for me. I absolutely adore it. I always say that it feels like like a D&D campaign, like your first D&D campaign with your friends. It's very simple, very to the point, but it's just very cozy and fun, you know. And obviously, we're all big Final Fantasy fans here. We all like a lot of the games in the series, so I would definitely love to get to that eventually. Probably not for a while, especially because if I were to do it, I'm gonna be hardcore and I'm gonna play the NES version just to finally play through it. But I know that that's gonna be really tough. So maybe that's sometime next year, because we've got most of the episodes actually planned out for the rest of the year. We went over this a few weeks ago, fellas. So. Probably no Final Fantasy this year, but one day in the future we'll definitely get to it. And
I need to play it. So
and there's so many good Final Fantasies. It's like eventually we got to do more than just one of them. We probably got to do 6, and
we could all pick a random one. We could all pick a random Final Fantasy and just come to talk with that random Final Fantasy without telling the other ones.
In a way that would be kind of fun. Just be like, hey, this is something that happens in this game, but not in this game. Oh, that's from that game. I didn't know that. That could actually be a decent idea. A bit of a Final Fantasy roulette where we just have multiple episodes and we talk about different games in the series. I like that.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something, even though you're probably joking initially.
I was definitely joking, but yes, we can work with it.
Yes.
We will make it work.
Exactly. So I guess we could go ahead, get into the show, talk about what we've been playing. I can never remember who I go with the week before, so I'm just gonna say Zach. Zach, what have you been playing?
Yeah, so like mentioned, I didn't get a whole lot of time to play games this last week. I did play some Paper Mario, working my way through that. I hit a little point in Paper Mario where pacing slowed down quite a bit, and I'm like having to really push myself through this stretch I'm in.
I think I texted you the other day and called it Paper Mid, the 1,000-Year Bore, because that's how I was feeling at the moment.
Yep.
And I feel bad because I'm like, am I crazy? Because people adore this game like so much, and it's not bad, but comparing it to the N64 game, I think that game is way better in basically every way, honestly. So I'm hoping that my opinion sways by the end of it, but right now it's feeling a little overrated. I can't lie.
I can't disagree, but also I know I'm still early, so I want to see how it unfolds. Paper joke. But other than Paper Mario, I got back yesterday. I was gone for a week, didn't get to play my PlayStation. So this morning I played some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, working my way through hard mode. I played some Street Fighter 6. I played some Demon Souls, just kind of wanting to play stuff. So I played an hour of each of those games, and just having a good time doing random stuff. But
nice.
Yep. And there's another game I'll talk about. I want to start soon. I'll show that in the pickups.
Sweet.
There's another game I'm going to start soon after this.
Very exciting. Tyler, what the hell you been playing, bud?
Me, myself. So I've been playing, I tried out Daxter, the PSP port on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Tried that out, got partway through it. The game's fun. I don't know, the whole control scheme kind of gets with me a bit. It hasn't aged totally well, but it's still a good time. Still enjoying it.
It's funny, because I played that as a kid. I got it with my PSP, and I remember feeling like it controlled weird back then even.
Yeah, it seems like the movement for looking left and right and stuff is really floaty. So if you just tap it, it'll be whoa, and I'm just calm down.
Yeah, I think they were trying to reinvent the camera when they're like, oh crap, we don't have 2 sticks again. We got used to that.
So I gotta give it that, but I mean, it was pretty good. I'm playing that. I have been playing the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Oh,
nice!
I love that game.
I think I'm at chapter 5 or 6. I still need to get farther into that and probably play some.
I forgot the game has chapters.
I know, me too. Have you played the original?
The original, a little bit. I never totally finished it, but
is this your first time with the remake too?
Yeah, first time with the remake.
Nice. It's an excellent time. I feel like, I mean, I guess it's something we'll probably talk about more next week, because next week we'll talk about remakes and remasters. Get mentioned at the end of the show, but that's one of those remakes that I'm totally justifiable to play both, because they both are very good and very similar, but have enough differences to stand on their own as their own kind of individual games.
Yeah, Capcom's been killing it with the remakes.
Yes, they know how to make a remake for sure.
Yep.
And then played with my buddies Jonathan, Jason, and Hector. We all played together. We played some Switch NSO together. Played a game of Mario 2. And Hector, I hate you for stealing my star. All right, putting that out there.
Mario Party 2?
Yeah, we played Mario Party 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like
Um,
Mario, original Mario 2. I thought y'all picked one. Like I was like, what's
oh
going
no.
on here?
Yeah, we did
I was
some of
like,
that, and then played some Pokemon Stadium mini games, still waiting on my rematch, Zach. But then also, me and Hector get into like a heated war with Pokemon Puzzle League. So I've been
Mm.
playing a whole bunch of Pokemon Puzzle League. Beat the whole game on normal, beat the whole game on hard, and I'm trying to beat the game on very hard.
nice.
So that's been pretty fun. And yeah, it's all I've been pretty much been playing recently.
Lots of bouncing around.
Yeah, it's
Good
been good.
stuff, fellas. All right, so for me, I already mentioned a little bit Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm at the very end of, I don't know if it's chapter 3 or 4. It's when you're doing all the fighting to get the against the Rock Hog guy,
It's
like leading up to
chapter
fight him.
3. Yeah,
Chapter
that's where
3,
I'm
yeah.
at.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're in the same spot. I'm almost done with it. I stopped playing because I just got bored, honestly. So, but I'm gonna commit to finish it because I'm like maybe it's just this one part of the game that drags. I've been told that's not the case, so I'm gonna fight through it and see how that goes. I played through a good amount of Diddy Kong Racing since we're gonna be talking about N64 games, and Tyler loves Diddy Kong Racing, so I decided to give it a shot. Maybe I don't. Yes, there it is. I don't know if I'm just terrible at video games, but it's hard as shit. I don't know what my issue
It's
is. I'm
tough.
like, I was gonna say, is it just a tough game, or? And then I read online because I was like, am I just this bad? No, apparently there's a lot of weird stuff the game doesn't teach you. Like I guess tapping the acceleration button makes you go faster than holding it down, and there's like a lot of weird tricks like that in the game. So I might go back to it and try it more. But
Gotta at
it
least beat
has the
Wizpig.
problem. I'm sorry.
You gotta at least beat Wizpig.
I know. I'm gonna try. I really don't like games that you have to 100% to truly beat them, and you can't unlock the final world unless you 100% the game up into that point, and that's just kind of frustrating to me. So we'll see if I can get the whole way through the game and beat everything. But yeah, I would like to at least get to the first kind of like final boss, or like first credit roll of the game since the game has two. I bet it's fun multiplayer too. I like how the item system is different than Mario Kart. How you could like build up items to make them better, opposed to just getting randomized items like you know what you're gonna get. And it's just so weird playing a kart racer that isn't like rubber bandy like Mario Kart because I'm so used to that. So it's like you feel like once you fall behind, there's no coming back sometimes, depending on how many walls you bump into in a row or something. So
Yeah.
but it's a pretty fun time. I definitely see why people like it a lot. I'm just not good enough. I got skill issues, unfortunately. So
I think a modern Diddy Kong Racing, like with little more approachable, but with some of the mechanics would be great.
oh, definitely. It's kind of. I mean, I understand why they haven't done another one. It's the same thing as F-Zero. It's like Nintendo has their racing game, but it'd still
Yeah.
be nice to get something a little different, you know. So maybe one day. You never know. And then the last game I played through, I beat it. It's called Bright Memory. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. It's a weird first-person shooter indie game made by one guy. Super graphically impressive, but it's like literally 40 minutes long, and it was like $15. So it's the first time I've ever refunded a game on Steam because I was like, that's it.
Isn't this? I think this game was shown off at like the first Xbox Series X showcase, and
It
it like
might have
looks
been.
super impressive. And
And
that was like the last I heard of it.
yeah, and it was okay. You know, I get it. It's made by one guy, and that's pretty impressive for how high fidelity it is and how good the combat in the game feels. But I don't know, just a game being that short and being $15 is a little inappropriate to me. I feel like it's a little bit of more of a cash grab. Like they wanted to make something to fund the next game, which apparently is what they did because there is a sequel that's also like only 2 hours long called Bright Memory Infinite. But I did not enjoy Bright Memory enough to think that I'd want to play another 2 hours of it. Honestly, it was just okay.
Sure.
So, but like I said, it's super impressive for a game of that high caliber, graphic fidelity. You know, it looks almost AAA. So the fact that it was made by one dude is really cool. I just think the cost to value of the actual game ratio wasn't there. So, but check it out if you're curious to see what a one-man indie dev can do when they have a bit more of a budget. Yeah. So
Nice.
that's what I've been playing. Nothing crazy. I've calmed down on playing 1,001 games on my Steam Deck because I felt like I just needed to actually start playing some stuff again, opposed to testing out games being emulated. So, and I'm honestly probably going to get back to that soon anyway, because every day I go online and I see a random weird Japanese-only PS2 game I've never heard of, and I'm like, I should download that and see if there's a fan translation somewhere. So I'm just always fascinated in stuff that we didn't get over here in the States. But I digress. Now that we've talked about what we've been playing, we definitely have some game pickups to show. Mr. Tyler's been busy, so I think we'll let you go last. I know you have a lot to show. I only have one game to show. I don't know if you have anything, Zach. If you do, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I have one. I'll go first.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I had this shit sent to my apartment while I was gone, but Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble.
That's one I do need to get.
Me too.
I haven't played Monkey Ball since the GameCube, so but I heard some really good stuff about this one, so I'm ready to try it out. I got the Legendary Banana Edition.
Ooh.
So it has a little slipcover.
And
it comes with this adventure book, which just has some like artwork and character profiles and
that's
stuff
fun.
like that.
I like that.
And then it has 2 pack-ins, little things. So you have like the banana suit. I already used the code. Don't try to steal it. The banana suit. And then I got real excited with this next one. The Sega Pass. And I was like, oh, I got Sonic. And it's just an advertisement to go buy the Sega Pass.
That's annoying.
I was like, come on. Like, I bought the Legendary Banana Edition. Give me Sonic. But no.
I know. It's terrible.
Just an advertisement to go buy the Sonic stuff. So
Remember in the last one that came out, it was cool. They had like Sonic and Tails in it. I think Sonic you're able to just unlock, and then Tails I think was the same, but then you had to buy the like console pack or something. You got a Dreamcast, a Saturn,
you could play as a
like
Game Gear.
Yeah, Game Gear was the other one.
Yeah, you could get Morgana from Persona 5. You can get Hello Kitty. They had a bunch of random stuff. Kiryu from Yakuza.
Kiryu in there.
So funny. Yeah, I love Monkey Ball. It's so funny. All these years later, those are childhood games for me, and to this day, I still can't beat any of them. They're just so hard.
Oh yeah, I've never beaten Monkey Ball 1 or 2, but I like playing them. They're really tough.
And they're amazing party games. Super fun to play the mini games with people.
Have you ever watched Monkey Ball speedruns at like GDQ?
Dude, insane. The most batshit stuff you'll ever watch. It's so fun.
It's awesome.
Those are some of the funnest speedruns by far. That just how, I don't know. It's insane to me because there's nothing worse. Like I know we've talked about this like with Souls games, how it's like someone could beat those games with a banana and I can't even beat them normally. It's the same thing. Like I see these people speedrun Monkey Ball and I'm like, I can't even just get through the stage like a normal person. And this person's going 1,000 miles an hour, hitting the right corners perfectly, like pixel perfect to bounce off of this to hit the goal. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited to try to, because I know that's like how a lot of people like to play Monkey Ball. They like you beat the levels and then you learn how to like break the levels. And I want to try to. I haven't played in probably 15 years since like Monkey Ball 2. So I really want to try to like learn some of the like techniques for some of the levels and look up speedrun techniques, stuff like that, and practice it.
Those would probably be awesome live streams. That'd probably be a great game to live stream.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. So we'll see how it goes.
Little side note for the Monkey Ball series. You guys ever see the video from like, I think his name was like, it was Nick something. He like tried to find the voice actor that did in the Monkey Ball games where it was like, ready, go. Because he's like
Nick Robinson. Yeah,
Nick Robinson, that's his name. It was Nick something. He like has this whole 1-hour documentary about him trying to find the voice actor of that. It's pretty cool watch. If you ever
Was it successful?
Yes.
Okay, good.
To spoil it, but it's like it's still a fun watch. So, and then that announcer ended up leaking that they were making the next Monkey Ball game, so that was kind of funny.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, I just have one game, so I'll go ahead and show that off before Tyler shows us his giant pile. So
I got like 3 piles, man.
I know, it's very exciting. So I have me another Vita game. So we're getting very close to the end, boys. Yes, I got Yomawari Midnight Shadows. So I still need the other one that's packed in with HTOL hashtag something. I don't even know how you say the name of the game, honestly. But I think I'm trying to think if there's 7 or 8. I think there's 7 games left for the set. So I'm so close. I've never spent so long finishing a set of video games before because I started collecting this set when I wanted to, grow up and get my own place. So I had to stop wasting money on games like I used to. But it's gonna be really cool having a full Vita and 3DS set. Those are just two of my favorite consoles ever. So it's really nice to almost be done with it. And the Vita's just so cool, man. I did a whole video about collecting the Vita on our friend Bird Dog's gaming channel, if anyone wants to check that out too. What it's like to collect the system now. It's not quite retro, but it's getting there. It's getting older by the day. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Just like
What's
us.
Yes. Vita's 13 years old now. So, I mean, 13's quite a long time ago. It feels disgusting to think about, but
Yeah.
the Vita's been out for a minute, so.
You ever see those memes where it's like what you feel like 20 years ago was, and it has like Final Fantasy 1, but it's like what it really
Yeah.
was, and it's like a PS2 game.
And then you're
just
like, then you just start throwing up everywhere. Good times. It's fun getting old, isn't it, guys?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
So,
Tyler. Why don't you go ahead and do your humble bragging for a bit?
all right, here we go. So before Too Many Games, I ended up buying this lot off of eBay. It's like it was a Game Boy Color boxing manual lot, so I bought that.
Nice.
That came in, so I'm gonna show that off first. There's one reason I bought this, which I'll leave for the end. Tonka construction site.
Let's
Game
go.
Boy Color.
Woo!
We got that.
Tonka.
Oh, Zach, you're gonna like one of these. Don't worry.
Oh,
We
I like
got
Tonka already, so
Shrek Swamp Kart Speedway.
There it is.
Nice.
Let's go.
Goated game.
And then we got Dinotopia.
awesome.
Now, Zach, Phil, you're gonna like this one. We got Shrek Fairy Tale Breakdown, or Freakdown,
Let's
whatever it is.
Go.
Yeah,
You're
Breakdown.
talking to a top 10 worldwide runner of that
Exactly.
game. So.
I need you to sign this for me.
Yeah, I
Whenever
guess not. Yeah, sure. I'll sign it for you.
And then the reason I bought this because you can like never find the box and manual, or well, mainly the insert that it comes with, little collectible. We got No Rules Get Fat.
Yes.
Comes with a little skateboard right there. Has all that intact. Just need to buy a cartridge, and it'll be complete. So
It's just one of the greatest names ever for a game, too.
So
Is
we
it like
got
a,
all
like
of
a
that.
tech deck, basically, it comes with?
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
here, I could show you real quick. Why not?
Oh, you don't need to bust it out. I was just
You
curious.
don't need to? Okay.
Hey, guys, welcome to my unboxing. Today I'm going to be showing off
Yeah, we're gonna have it
Get Fat.
unboxing. Why not? Put those aside. All right.
Let's
Then,
see it.
Let's
Do a
see
kickflip.
games. Not do it. I don't have it. He said don't do it. So on our way to Too Many Games, stopped at a Walmart to get snacks and stuff, and
As you
found
do.
2 figures I don't have. So we
Oh,
got
hell
this
yeah.
one. Got Axel from Streets of Rage. So you get the Altered Beast one and the Monkey Ball one. Monkey Ball seems to be the most common.
Mhm.
Then I also found the Heavy King from Sonic.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Nice.
That's a nice
So-
figure.
Added those to the collection.
Yeah, I almost bought. I went to Walmart the other day and I saw the Altered Beast werewolf and the II monkey ball one. I almost got those. I can't believe in 2024 we have a werewolf Altered Beast figure in stores and it has like Master System themed box. It's insane. It's such a weird little thing. I'm like, why did they think this was gonna sell? There are so many of them.
They're a weird company, okay?
So then, at Too Many Games, there was a couple voice actors I wanted to meet, so I got some things signed. Might as well show those off. So my goal is to get like one of each Sonic figure signed by a voice actor.
That's cool.
So got 2 of those down. We got Blaze the Cat,
Nice.
which forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's also the same voice actor as Luffy from One Piece in the dub.
No way. That's awesome.
I was walking up with a Blaze the Cat figure.
Everyone else has other One Piece DVDs and stuff.
I'm just like, can you
She's
sign
like,
my
oh.
Blaze? And then we got this one. We got Vector the Crocodile.
Let's
Says
go.
to
Nice.
Tyler, I'm on the case. Got
Hell
that signed
yeah.
by him.
That's fun. Shout out to Vector. What a G.
And then I got my copy of Pokemon Battle Frontier signed by the voice actor of May and Jesse and several other Pokemon.
That's awesome.
Shall Knots, got that signed. And then, when Resident Evil 4 remake signed
That's so cool.
Nice.
by Leo.
That's a cool
He's a
signature,
pretty cool
too.
guy. When I walked
that's
up,
cool
it was like only him at his booth. Because it was like
Mhm.
near the end of the day. I was like, oh, I'm going to try to go get it quick while it's dying down. Went over there, and then he was just like talking to me for a bit. And he was like, you want some Oreos? I got a lot of Oreos. And we were just like talking, eating Oreos. Pretty cool.
That's
But-
awesome. Imagine having Oreos with Leon Kennedy.
Yeah, I made it happen.
He's just like September 30th, 1998. It's a day I'll never forget.
The
Doug's
double-stuffed
Oreo milk.
has come and changed the world as we know it.
So, go through these a little bit. So these are all the Too Many Games pickups. So it's kind of funny because our buddy Daily Beating, I think he's going to be on that side,
Yes.
put up a video saying about his what was it, your month-end review, what you've been playing and all that
My
stuff.
favorite, like favorite games I played for June or whatever. Yeah.
And in that you had a clip of your live stream, and it had me in the little chat box saying like what I was hoping to get at Too Many Games, and we're about to find out if I got both of those items or not.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Let's see.
So we'll start with this stuff first. Got a little. This look kind of cool, like a little bullet hell type.
That's fun.
Anime game. I don't know. It's on
Looks
PS4.
like a nice,
I buy anything
like a nice
PS4.
degenerate game.
So. Yeah, pretty much. And then we got Revelations and Revelations 2 on the PS4.
Nice, nice.
And then I got a couple Xbox 360 games, mainly because, Xbox 360 is kind of like going crazy. And these two specifically, PopCap Arcade Volume 2.
Oh.
I think last I checked, this was like $60 or something like that. The booth had it for $20, so I was like, okay.
$60 for Peggle.
Yeah, no, it's all about that feeding frenzy, bro. Feeding frenzy.
Fair.
But also got Cubed. That was only $10. Picked that up.
Interesting.
And then I also got Wartech off of a buddy Sagero. Had to do like a little third-party wheel and deal for that one. Long story short. And then these I got from Vinny at the con, or buddy Vinny. If you're watching, cool. Got those. Got this one because it has Bomberman in it, and then this one because it has Trials HD. I'm ready to get it physical on the 360.
All those the Xbox, the XBLA like arcades collections are really cool things to own. I would like to find those eventually too. Seems to be a lot of them too. Way more than I realized.
I want to eventually get the PlayStation 3 one before, they announce that again and then that goes back up.
Yeah, because that one finally started to dip down quite a lot.
Got a Bomberman Land on the Wii because I didn't have it, and I got it for like $15. I was like, why not?
It's kind of an uncommon game.
Viewers of Bird Dog Gaming would know about this, so I'm going to put out there. Yeah. National Geographic Challenge.
Insanely rare game for some reason.
Let's see.
Super
Picked
weird.
up this because I thought I had it, but I didn't, and I made sure to get the typo one.
I was going to ask if it was the one with the typo.
Yeah, Revelations. Let's see. Another pickup from Vinny. We got Hey Arnold, the movie on the Game Boy Advance.
Hell yeah.
Then I seen this. It was only $15, so I figured, why not?
Nice.
Mario Master Disguise.
Someone Christian just said he was playing, right?
Yeah, I think he finished it, and that's kind of what made me buy it. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll grab it.
I've heard it's a very fun game.
Then some Game Gear love for you, Craig. Also from Sagero. We got the Sonic Triple Trouble.
Absolutely beautiful copy. Also, insanely underrated Sonic game. It's so fun.
And now, let's move this to the side. Now, from my buddy
too many games.
Matt, essentially, my buddy Matt, who was vending there, I got this Pokemon Emerald tin, which was like if you pre-order the game, you got this and like a VIP pass in it. It doesn't have the VIP pass, but I mean, the tin's
That's
cool,
so cool,
and I like it. So
that's your game.
It is. And then the two games that I said in Zach's live stream were Etrin Mystery Dungeon and Klonoa on PS1. I have one of those right here. We got Etrin Mystery Dungeon.
There we go.
Bought that off of Matt, and this is one I really wanted to play. So, and Matt asked me if I was going to open it, and I know you watch this. I'm just showing you right now.
There it is.
And this right here, bam, coming off. There you go.
Beautiful.
It's going to be played because that's what I want to do with it. I waited a whole week to do that.
But that felt so good for the game.
It's it. And then my last pickup of the convention, which this was like my first pickup of the convention.
It was a big boy. We
got Klonoa, Door to Phantom Isle on PS1. This was like the cleanest copy at the convention. It has the registration card and everything.
Beautiful.
and it was $400.
Oh,
Hold on, I got a little cheaper.
I was like, holy cow.
But every other copy there was like 475, 500, and they were all like beat. I was like, oh, I ain't paying that, you know. So I went back to the guy that had it for 400, asked what's the best he would do. We ended up settling on 380, which I mean I still feel is a pretty good price for how clean this
No,
is.
it is.
So
I just forgot how expensive the game is. I think
dude,
about
it used to be like 700 before the remake came out.
I know.
I was not buying it.
God, I sold my copy I think for like $160 like 6 or like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and it's like, man, should have waited.
And then 3 more things. These were after too many games. I got from my buddy Alex, Ghost Trick, Phantom
cool.
Detective on the DS.
Man, I've been wanting to play that game forever.
And then he also sent me this, it's like a promotional sticker sheet for Fire Emblem.
That's so cool.
Yeah, figured Zach and you would like that. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's really neat.
Like he had a couple things to send me, and each one had like a special gift in it or something. So
how nice.
It was really cool to see when I came home. That came in the mail at like 11 o'clock at night. I was really confused. Like the day before 4th of July, I was like,
it's a very important delivery.
I was like, okay.
This man needs the stickers.
My buddy Jason, he actually bought a duplicate, and then when he found out, or he like thought he didn't have the manual or something, but it did have the manual. So then he ended up having 2, so he just gifted it to me. So thank you, Jason.
Nice.
Siphon Filter 3 on PS1.
Cool. How nice.
And I think that's it.
That's it? That's all you have?
Yeah, we got this without the figures.
Oh gosh.
Good lord. How exciting. Man,
now I can finally file it all away.
Nothing better than a giant game haul. It's been so long since I've just went nuts like that. If I ever go to a gaming convention, like too many games or something, I definitely will make sure I have the money set aside to just go balls to the wall.
That's what I usually do. Sometimes I wasn't planning to get that much, but it ended up happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like even if I'm like, all right, set aside $1,000, it's like probably double that if we're gonna be realistic.
Yeah. The other game I was trying to like really find was Lunar on the PS1, the first one. I found a lot of the second one, but I kind of wanted to get the first one complete with all the little fixins and stuff.
Yeah.
I could not find it at all. Or I found one, but it was like really beat up, and I was like, nah, I ain't getting out. So
yeah. And it's unfortunate because those games look really bad when they're beat up because it's like just looks like yellow cardboard surrounding all the sides. They don't display well once they start to get nicked up.
So
you had a good time at Too Many Games?
Yeah.
All the buying, was it actually fun to be there?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Went to a couple panels. Got all that.
Did you meet any famous YouTubers?
I met the Spawncast, talked to them.
Oh yeah.
My buddy Mystic Ryan. He probably doesn't watch this, but
but he is your boy. He makes, if you guys out there don't know Mystic Ryan, he is so disgustingly good when it comes to like PlayStation content. Nobody knows more than him. It's insane how knowledgeable he is, like about the brand, the tech, everything. It's super impressive. So
yeah, he was out there trying to find a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He ended up getting like 2 booster boxes and a couple of singles. Oh, Craig, I wanted to tell you one thing I seen there. What? So you were talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh Game Boy game or Game Boy Color game that came with the Blue Eyes, the Dark Magician, and Exodia.
And Exodia, yeah.
They had a Blue Eyes card there that came from that, and it was like lightly played, I think, and it was like $600.
Yeah, and that's about right. That's the crazy thing. It's like that box is impossible to find, and even if you do find it, the cards aren't going to be there. And if you want to buy the cards secondhand, they're all like 500, 600, 700 plus. It's like insane how hard it is to find those cards. And apparently, I don't know how true it is, but I've read online that there's been people that have shelled out money for sealed copies of the game, and there's just no cards in them. And people can't tell if that they're reseals or if they just shipped out a lot of copies without the cards. Because, there's a lot of people that have bought the games because they're like, oh, I want to get the cards graded. So they'll buy sealed copies so the cards will be there in good condition. They open up and then there's no cards. And it's
how
like,
much
God,
does a sealed copy of that go for?
Oh my God, thousands.
Do you know?
Thousands.
That's crazy.
So I've only been able to find, I think, like maybe like I was doing research a while ago for a video I did with Christian, and I think it was like the only copy I was able to find on sale currently was a graded copy for like 10 grand. And then when I looked for like historical sales, there's ones from a few years ago that are still like $5,000-$6,000. So it's like no matter what, it's insane. And it's like, man, would that be the coolest thing ever to own? Yes. Would I ever buy it? No, because I don't know if I ever talked to either of you guys about it, but I have a strict $1,000 limit where I'm like, I will never spend over $1,000 on any collectible because I feel like I just can't justify it. If I could hopefully find a deal, or I'll just never own it for certain things, or I'll like trade towards it because I've gotten stuff that's worth more than that, but it was always trades. Like I can't justify that much cash for something that's just gonna collect dust on my shelf, no matter how cool it is. It's like I just feel like that's so irresponsible unless you have like FU money, which I do not. So
Yeah.
as much as I'd love to, there's certain things where it's like I'll either never own it or I'll have to trade up for it, and that's okay. I've done that plenty of times. That's how I got my lovely duo pack that I will never get rid of. So
isn't that also how you got Barbie?
No, actually Barbie, it was a lot of money. It was like $700 still, but considering what it costs now, that's a good deal. So, and it breaks my heart because for those of you that don't know, Barbie Guru and Glam Pups on the 3DS, that's like I don't even know, like a $2,500 game.
They had one too many games, but it didn't have a price on it, so I couldn't sell it.
Exactly. It's but I remember when I was going for the 3DS set, like early on, I found brand new copies. Like there was like 2 or 3 copies for sale on eBay, and they were like $200, and I was like, oh wait, I'll find it for cheaper. And then and then those copies sold, and then a year went by without another listing on eBay, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm like I'm never gonna find this game now. And then I ended up getting it from somebody that lived in Canada on Facebook Marketplace, and that was very sketchy to, hope that they weren't going to rob me, and luckily they didn't, so I got it through that. But then ever since then, it's like every copy that sold has been like 2,000 plus, so it's
That's
like
crazy.
Even though it sucks spending that much money on a game, I'm glad that I did, because it's really, really expensive, so
yeah.
But it really is that rare too, so it's like you could get mad about the price, but it's like usually when a game's super expensive, it's not actually that rare, and Barbie Guru and Glam Pups actually is that rare, so at least it kind of equates in that way. Not the most I've ever spent on a game, that's second place, but I'm not proud of it either, so. Most was the big box Pokemon box, that was a lot of money too.
Seen a couple of those at too many games too, and I was like, man, I would love to have
what were they asking for those?
I think the one was like 3,000, and the one was like 32. If I remember.
And they had the big box?
Yeah.
Nice.
Then there was a lot, dude. It was like every other table that had just a regular copy of it, and it's like, oh, like 1,500, 2,000, and I'm just like,
because it's low print, but it's not really that rare. It's really the big box that's rare. And actually, Tyler knows this. I don't know if you know, Zach. I sold my GameCube set about a year ago. I kept the big box for Pokemon box. That way, if I ever buy the game again, I don't have to buy the big box.
As you should have, yeah.
I kept the box, and then I took out the sticker sheet for the memory card and the memory card, so that way I could buy the least complete copy possible and spend less money if I ever want to get it again.
Less money, but still gonna be a lot.
Exactly. But when I did buy my big box Pokemon box, it was actually my second copy of the game, so I just took out the copy of the game and kept the big box, because I couldn't find just a big box, and then I sold that and made more than half the money back, so it's like really kind of evened out in a way, so I didn't feel too bad about it by then, because it was like, I think it was like 800 it was like 880, it was like right below $900, and then I sold it, just the game itself, for like I think it was like $650, so it ended up kind of not feeling too bad by the end of it. Still a lot of money, but I've grown up a lot since then. I can't spend that kind of money anymore and not feel really guilty about it, so it's just a very expensive hobby. So
For sure.
And most things I feel like the price doesn't equate to how rare it actually is either, so like I don't know, I think there's just a lot of games that the price doesn't feel justified, but I'm going on a rant now. I apologize. I started getting in my little collector's corner here.
On your soapbox?
I know. I apologize.
It's all good.
But
it's all good.
Enough about collecting games. It's time to learn some shit. Mr. Tyler, your history lesson. Right. It is time. What happened in the last 2 weeks since we've seen you?
So, in the last 2 weeks, starting with June 26th, in 1983, I don't know if you also know this, but is when Fisher-Price announced it had canceled plans to expand into video games. I never even knew that was a thing.
Huh.
So that was kind of news to me.
Interesting.
What a world we could have had.
Exactly. Could have had a Fisher-Price game system competing with Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo.
I like to imagine that the plans for the Fisher-Price console leaked, and that's what became the Wii U gamepad, because the Wii U gamepad feels like a Fisher-Price tablet.
It does.
Like, that's a great idea. Leapfrog. Or Leapster, whatever it is. So, moving on. Also on June 26th, in 2000, is when Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, released for the N64.
I love that game so much.
Won't find that on my list.
You might find it on mine.
And then on 2003, Nintendo released Wario World for the GameCube. One I never played, always wanted to, but
I hate it.
yeah, I heard bad things.
I can't stand that game. I think it's so obnoxious. You can't pause it. Have you ever played it, Zach?
I have not. I want to. I know Bird Dog said he also didn't like it.
You literally can't pause the game, because if you do, it's the most obnoxious song you'll ever hear in your entire life. It'll make you never want to play the GameCube again. Not just the game, but the entire system.
I have that song downloaded to my laptop because I was looking for music for a Wario video. And I was downloading stuff from that OST, and I think I remember it. That is an atrocious song. I think I do remember it.
Yeah,
I looked it up after this.
Yeah, it's so obnoxious. It's like one of the worst songs probably ever made. If
like
Koji Kondo did it, that's where he should have retired.
Yeah, it's odd.
Oh, I'm sure it is intentionally bad, but it's like, I don't know. I was like, I can't believe that I have to sit through this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just had to piss.
Yeah.
Like,
turn it down.
You're punishing me.
Okay. And then 2007, also June 26th, Pokemon Battle Revolution came out for the Wii as well as Final Fantasy Anniversary Edition on the PSP. Dude, so there you go, Patrick. There's your Final Fantasy lore.
I love that Pokemon game. I know it's so bare bones and not that great, but when I was a kid, I thought it was so cool being able to connect my DS to it and like play with my DS team. That was the dopest shit. I played that for hours and hours and hours. I thought it was so cool.
I rented it from a Blockbuster and played it for one weekend. Never played it again. But it's a cool game.
Then also moving on to June 29th, 1998, is when Banjo-Kazooie released on the N64. Got a couple N64 releases here.
That's fun. I wish I liked Banjo-Kazooie more. I feel like something's wrong with me, because everyone adores it, and it just has never clicked with me.
I gotta give it a shot. One time. 2001, June 29th, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles released on the PS1, which includes Final Fantasy 2 in the US, or 4 in Japan, whichever one you want to go by, and Chrono Trigger.
Nice.
Chrono Trigger, another one I gotta play.
Yes, Final Fantasy 4 is so good, too. I loved when I played through that game last year. Some of the best music in Final Fantasy, too. We played one of the songs from it at my wedding, which was pretty great, so...
Then June 30th, this isn't really like retro news, but I had to throw it in here. 2017 Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy release. That was a major day in history of gaming. Just saying. Love Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, it's great. I heard recently that it sold like 20 million copies, which is insane to me. Like, it did so well.
Insane.
The game also was on sale a lot, but still very impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we get a Crash 5 or something.
Oh, yeah, because Crash 5
kind of hope
so
we get
good.
like a Spyro 4 first or something, but see what happens. July 1st, another N64 game came out in 1999, which is Pokemon Snap.
I talked about that, I think, last episode, so...
And then our final history segment on July 8th. I didn't put a year in here. I think it was 2003. No, I don't think it was 2003. Crap. Well, on July 8th,
what kind of historian are you?
This tap up in here is when Nintendo reveals none other than the Wii Zapper. Anybody have any history with the Wii Zapper while I go find this date? 2007, boys.
Wow. You said 2003 for the Wii?
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, that's not right.
What the hell is that thing? You don't know about it yet. You don't even know about it yet.
It's from the future.
We're cooking over here, okay?
All right.
I never had the Wii Zapper myself, but I had a friend who had Link's Crossbow Training, so I remember playing it at their house. And it's actually a very fun game, honestly. It's actually definitely worth playing.
We gotta get all that Zelda lore.
Oh yeah. I mean, where does Link's Crossbow Training fall on the timeline? That's the real question.
It is an important question.
Probably the exact same time as Twilight Princess, because it is Twilight Princess, but it's okay.
Does Link ever use a crossbow outside of that game?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. I think it's always just a regular bow.
Yeah.
Strange.
So you think that was just a game they made, and then like call it Link's Crossbow Training? They just slap some Zelda like skins on it, or what?
I don't know, because I think that was the only way that it was sold was with that game, right?
I believe so.
I mean, obviously you could use it for other games like Resident Evil 4 and different things like that because it just works.
Yeah.
But and it's funny because I love when games that have on the back saying that it was compatible with the
It's a piece of plastic, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're not hooking anything up.
Yeah.
I love how dumb Nintendo could be sometimes with their advertising. It makes me happy.
Compatible.
Love it. Is that it for the history?
That is it
Mr.
for the
Tyler?
history.
Wow, I feel like I learned so much.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a new man.
Hey, as long as you know that the Wii Zapper released in 2007 and not 2003.
Not 2003.
2003,
I hope you.
yeah.
Yes.
I said that, I was like, man, that was way too early.
Yes. Everybody needs to remember because it's going to be on the test at the end of the episode. All right. I guess it's time for us to get into it, boys. Our top 5 N64 games. We got our point system. So if a game is number 5 on your list, it gets 1 point. If it's number 4, it gets 2, and all the way up. I think that makes sense to everybody, I'm assuming. Think of Mario Kart, as Zach said when we were talking about it for the show. Mario Kart point system. Let's see. All right, I have my list here. I'm going to be adding up the points as we go and adding games onto the list as we go. But I say we let Zach go first. What is your 5th favorite N64 game?
So this is the only game on my list that I had that I played for the first time recently. Everything else is games I played growing up. But I played a lot of the NSO games on Nintendo Switch Online. And one of the games I was really happy to try was Pilot Wing 64.
Oh.
Never played that game growing up. But that game is a lot of fun. You fly around in a 3D space. So you play Pilot Wings on the SNES. I don't really like that game. It's kind of like, I only played it a few times. You just kind of like fall, I think. You just fall onto targets from like a plane. I don't really get it. Pilot Wing 64 basically just lets you fly around in a 3D space with a bunch of cool, fun aircraft. I never really like played the story a whole lot. I did some of the missions. Mainly I just flew around and listened to the music. One of the songs on it's like this hang glider level at like nighttime. And it's like the most relaxing, chill song ever. They used it in the advertisement for the when they put it on NSO, and that's what made me try it. Was because it's really really good music. Just kind of flying around in a 3D space is always fun to me. There's that cool Easter egg with like the Mount Rushmore where they have Mario on it instead of like George Washington.
So funny.
And if you shoot his face a bunch, it'll turn into Wario. Doesn't make any sense.
That's awesome. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's really fun. Really easy to just like kind of turn your brain off, listen to a podcast, and just fly around and like goof around in that game. And I enjoy it a lot. But also, you want to do the missions. There's fun missions you can challenge yourself with, like land on targets for scores, and like I think there's some time-based stuff, some time trial stuff. But
Interesting.
fun game.
Yeah, I have no experience with it, honestly. I know a little bit about it just from seeing footage over the years, but I have not played it, so I honestly, I didn't even know it was on that N64 online, so now it kind of makes me want to check it out since I know it's easily accessible like that. You have any history with it, Tyler?
I do not. I haven't played any Pilot Wings minus the 3DS game, so...
I haven't played that one either. I've had it for so long, but I never got around to playing it. And I've never played the SNES version, so it's like a total Nintendo blind spot for me.
Pilot Wings noob.
I am a Pilot Wings noob.
I'm gonna double check, but was Pilot Wing 64 a launch game for the N64?
Yes, that and Mario 64 were the only two.
Yeah.
The greatest launch lineup of all time.
Heck yeah.
What else could you need?
You just had to wait for that Wii Zapper in 2003, and then you were eating.
Imagine the few people out there that weren't big Mario fans. You know, they like the Nintendo consoles, but they didn't like Mario, so they just had Pilot Wings for a few weeks and nothing else.
At least one person on this earth did that.
At
Like
least.
swears by it. But,
And you're just like, dude, Pilot Wings, goated game.
yeah. Pilot Wing 64 is the best.
Mario 64 trash. Who needs it? All right, Tyler. What would you say is your fifth favorite N64 game?
All right, my fifth favorite N64 game. Took a little thinking, took a little in and out, switching around. But I feel like I'm going to go with this one, mainly because I have a lot of childhood memories with it, and I played it a lot with a bunch of friends, which was the original Mario Party. My mom don't like it, but I like it. We would always like get together on weekends after school, you know, all play Mario Party together, you know, always got to rep DK. DK is the best player in Mario Party, just saying. Just had a lot of good times with that game. Staying up late, all that type of stuff. Some good mini games. I really like the when we got to drill out the characters or whatever. I forget what that's. Drill. I don't know. Something with a drill. That one's fun. What are the others? Some of my favorites? There's that one with the Shy Guy where you gotta like pick the right flag. That one I had a lot of fun with. And I probably should have written some ones down, but
Oh, you're okay.
really enjoyed those two.
So I'm curious. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say, did you play the Switch Mario Party Superstars at all?
I played a bit of it.
Yeah.
My girlfriend got that, so we played that together at her house.
Yeah, that one's mostly N64 stuff, right? Like in terms of mini games and different things, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I was gonna ask because I'm curious because I know most people prefer 2 and 3 over 1. Is there something that you like more about 1 specifically, or is it mostly a nostalgia thing? Like that's just the one that you played the most?
It's probably mostly a nostalgia thing, to be honest.
Nothing wrong with that. Just didn't know if there was anything some strengths to Mario Party 1 that I didn't know about. Since I am N64 Mario Party are the ones I have the least experience with. So
yeah, mainly just nostalgia for me.
All of my Mario Party N64 experience was at McDonald's kiosks when I was a kid, and they were on a timer, so it's not like I was ever able to finish a round. So it's like they had that. They had Mario Party 1, 2, 3. They had Mario Kart 64, and then they had Dr. Mario. So all of those games are just like in my head associated with McDonald's because I didn't own any of them.
I know we mentioned it. We had a Mario Party conversation on this podcast before.
Yes.
Mario Party 1 always throws me off. I've said it last time, but the 3 on the dice always confuses me.
Every time I'm like, oh, Mario Party. Oh, I'm like, it's not Mario Party 3.
1, holding up a 3 dice next to it.
God. I always wonder, I wonder if they regretted that, like, later on. They're like, damn it, we didn't think this was going to do that well. And now people are mixing up the new game with the old game.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm curious, like, back in the day, it's like, when Mario Party 3 came out, you know, did parents go to stores to buy Mario Party 3 for their kids, and they bought Mario Party 1 on accident? Like, it's a big possibility.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of interesting. Super funny.
The dice aren't in the next titles. They don't have he's not holding up next to the name again.
They learned their lesson real quick.
They could have just done that all the way up until 6. And then 3, just have a 3. Yeah.
They just get a D20 and just have like slightly rotate it. Like
Mario D&D party would be awesome. I would kill to play a game like that.
Heck yeah.
All right. My number 5.
Diddy Kong
my
Racing.
number 5 is going to be, and you know what? I'll admit my list might be a little NPC-ish, but I don't care. I like my first-party Nintendo games, especially on consoles like this where third-party was a little bit weak overall. And my number 5 is Super Smash Bros., the original. I love the original Super Smash Bros. It kills me that it's not on Nintendo Switch Online because I would love to be able to play that game online with people. There's something about the original. It's just so the character models are so charming. You know, their first attempt at making everybody look coherent together in the same style. Yeah. I love the goofy ass end screens when you win during the single player runs. They're so funny.
Awesome.
The sound effects are so punchy. Everything sounds like someone's running into like a metal bar at the park.
Yeah.
And it's really funny.
That's such a good word for it. Yeah.
I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, how do I describe the punching sound effects? That's what came to mind. But yeah, I absolutely love it. The game is so fun. It's like a lot of the stages are very iconic and weird, like the Hyrule Castle and like the weird Mario 64 level, where it's like kind of just ahead of Peach's castle on a bridge and stuff. Super weird stages like that. Of course, you got to give respect because a lot of, my beloved Earthbound, we probably wouldn't have a lot of the love and popularity for that series that we do today without Ness's inclusion in Smash Bros. So I got to be a little biased and thankful for that there as well. I do love how the game is so weirdly balanced compared to the other games in the future. Like, a lot of the characters that suck in later Smash Bros. Games are really OP. Like, Kirby is definitely the best character in Smash 64. And he is pretty much trash in every other Smash going forward, and I just find that kind of funny. And I love Sakurai. I love the way that he designs games and just his way of going about making games, especially fighting games with Smash Bros. Over the years. And I think every Smash Bros. Holds up in its own right, and I think that you could make an argument for every Smash Bros. Being one of the best games for each console that is on. And this was the first one, and I think that it's still super fun to play. And if you like modded games and ROM hacks and different things, there's this really great version called Smash Remix that people have made. You could download it and play it on whatever emulator you want, but it's Smash 64 with added characters. Super fun, super cool. So you can play as Conker and Lucas and Marth and all these other different characters people added to it. So if you like Super Smash Bros. On the N64, but maybe you want to try to spice it up a little bit, that's something I would suggest too. Not that it really has any merit to this being fifth on my list right now, because it would be even regardless of that ROM hack. But yeah, shout out to Smash Bros.
I knew about Project M, but I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've been playing it on my Steam Deck a lot, actually. It's really fun. It has, like, I forget her name, but the girl from Mischief Makers and, like, a bunch of random ones, Mewtwo, Bowser. So it's really fun to just try out the different characters. Sonic's in it, so it's a very good time. If you're a big Smash Bros. Fan, something fun to check out.
Right for targets.
Yes.
And
a lot
just
of
to add on what
iconic
you're
stuff.
saying, Craig, it is unacceptable. This is not an NSO. It makes no sense. I do not understand what their hang-up is about this game.
Yeah, because for a long time, I was like, maybe they don't want to take away Ultimate sales, even though that doesn't really make sense. But I'm like, but then Mario Kart 64 and Mario Kart Super Circuit and Super Mario Kart are all on the online services. So.
I've done the same exercise. I've thought of every excuse, and none of them make sense. I don't understand. Unless they're just holding it, waiting for, like, some random...
like, collection of, like, Smash Classics or something.
I don't know what they're holding it back for, but... Yeah, I love Smash. I love the history element of the Smash games and like allowing you to like see. Like now, I'm a well-learned Nintendo fan, so I basically know all the first-party franchises.
Yeah, did you know that Doki Doki Panic?
Exactly. But as a kid, like it was cool for me seeing like Marth and Roy in Melee for the first time, and I'm sure when N64 came out, people seeing Ness and maybe even like Captain Falcon.
Some people might like, what the hell is this?
Exactly. So just such a cool series, and I want to play it desperately on the Switch. They need to figure that out.
And I will say, Captain Falcon, always the funnest character to play in every version of Smash. I love how fast and ridiculous he is.
Just Falcon punches everywhere.
It's so fun. Shout out to Wizrobe, who recently won the most recent Smash Melee Major as Captain Falcon, because Captain Falcon historically not won a lot of Melee Majors, so... That was fun to watch, too. If any of you guys like watching professional Melee out there. Oh, yeah. Not a lot of professional Smash 64. I've always wondered why that is. I guess it's just not as flashy as Melee or the newest games.
It's a little slower, too. But there's that cool they do the combo thing in Smash 64. Like, they do, like, the combo chains. Like, the... so that's cool. People set up, like, really long combos with items and stuff. But...
All right. So I gotta ask. Not on either of your guys' top 5, huh?
It was. I have my 5 games, my honorable mentions. It's at the top of my honorable mentions. The only reason I didn't put it on there is because I didn't own it, or it's not an NSO. I just played it at friends and stuff. So
yeah, it was one that I moved around on 5. So
that's surprising. I thought that this would have been a crossover one for you guys. I'm a little shocked, but that's okay. At least it got mentioned. That's all that matters. All right, so let's go ahead. Number 2 for Zach. What you got?
Number 4.
Or number 4, sorry.
You see?
I was like, Mario Party is not number 1.
Wait.
Number 4 is Diddy Kong Racing.
All right.
I do love Diddy Kong Racing. I love all the weird little animal characters. I always play as Tip Tup. Tip Tup. The little turtle. I really like the different like vehicles in this game because Mario Kart, you know how karts work for the most part. But like the little like speedboat things, that's really cool. But what I really like is the airplanes. I like having that 3D up and down, side to side element in the levels. I really want the next Mario Kart to have airplanes. I want that. That's the way they need to keep moving the series forward. I want 3D levels. I like Diddy Kong Racing's like open worldish, not open world, but like a little the story mode where you drive around the levels. I like that, even if it's not necessarily like the quickest way to get from level to level. I like driving around and exploring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quirky and fun. It's different.
I like going to the little elephant guy and getting my airplane to fly around.
Shout out to Taj, man. Taj.
I like every time you finish a race and he goes, "This is for you."
Yeah.
It's my favorite line delivery.
I love when he shows up when you don't meet him. He kind of walks up and like the screen like goes blue or whatever it does. It's so funny.
He's a great really character. Cool. I really like him.
Yeah, the game's and it's tough, like you mentioned. I haven't played it in a while, but I do remember really struggling with like pretty much every boss as a kid. And Wizrobe took. I don't even know if I feel like I beat Wizrobe eventually because I know what levels come after that. Mm-hmm. Not Wizrobe. You got me saying Wizrobe. Wizpig.
Wizpig.
I was wondering what you're talking about.
He's thinking about the current Smash Melee GOAT.
Yeah, Wizpig. Sorry. But yeah, like flying through his mouth to go race him. It's so cool. I don't know. I want Diddy Kong Racing on NSO as well. I don't understand why that's not there yet because they're starting to get the rare games on there.
Yeah, that and DK64 still missing.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there, but that's a whole other conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, cool game. I like the upgrade system, like you mentioned, that building rather than the random.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
it's
it
cool
also
that...
always sucks when you're trying to get like the last upgrade, then you run to like a different color balloon, and you'd like lose it.
See, and that was something I noticed too. I felt like the hitboxes a little wonky in this game.
This game definitely has a little jank to it, for sure. But yeah,
but it's good.
It's my preferred kart racer on the N64.
Fair enough.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, Diddy Kong Racing is also my number 4.
Is it your number 4? Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought it would have been higher for you. I'm surprised.
No, I got 3 others.
Interesting. Well, go ahead. Give us thoughts, Tyler.
I mean, Zach kind of named it all, but I'm going to just go ahead and also say I really like the character thing. I always said I would also got like Conker and Banjo and all that. I also play as Tip Tup a lot, just saying. So there we go. The music is great. I love all the different
The music is very good.
Yeah. There's that one where it's like, yeah. I'm not even going to attempt it. I kind of did.
I think you got it, actually. I think
you nailed it. Wow, I thought you turned the game on for a second.
But that theme, like whenever I think about the game, dude, that theme's just there. That one, and then like the nice little like when we were going to like the Christmas village. It's like
yeah, so good.
That one's really good.
That was actually, you get that one pretty good. That was actually, I heard that one when you said that.
Yeah, that one's better than the last one. But the bosses, I really liked how they were all like different, like kind of giant like animal type things. Like you had the Triceratops, you had the walrus, you had the octopus. The last one was like a dragon, right? I think it was a dragon. Don't remember all their names.
Right.
And then you had, Wizrobe. You had Wizrobe.
Wizrobe, Captain Falcon name.
Wizpig. All that was really fun. Going back, and like how Craig said, he doesn't like how when you gotta like 100% a game to beat it. Some of those, like going back and doing the coin challenges, were kind of annoying.
Those are so hard. That's my beef. Is I'm like, I don't think I could do it. Like as much as I would love to beat the game, I don't think I could get them all.
If I remember right, you had to do that with the bosses too. You gotta like get all the coins to beat them, and the bosses are already like 3 times as fast as you. So
yeah, like when I was going through like those snowy levels, some of them are just hard. Like I struggled to beat one of them, I can't remember which one it was. It's like where you go downhill for a lot of it, and then you go through a forest. I couldn't tell you the name of the exact level that is, but that one took me like probably 10 tries. It's like you hit one tree or you miss one turn, and it's just impossible to catch back up. And then I read online that not every character is built equal. I didn't know that. And I was playing Conker, and apparently Conker's one of the slower characters. So once I switched to Diddy, I was able to beat it on like my second try.
Did you go get the rooster guy, the hidden character?
No, that's
Is
the
his
thing.
name Cluck or something like that?
I forget what his name is, but he's so if you're like in the main hub area, there's like a frog hopping around, and
Yeah.
I think Wizpig like turned the rooster into a frog or something. I don't know. You talk to the frog and you get a new character.
Oh, okay. Because I know you could unlock the clock guy too.
Yep.
And apparently he's like by far the fastest. I think it's just like Tick.
It's TikTok or is it? Damn it! What is it? Is it Tick?
Something like that.
Like when you like walk or drive up to them, and then they gotta like turn around. They're like, just walk.
I know. I love the
like,
clock is just like.
He just turns
So
around. He's
funny.
like, you honk at him. He's just like,
Yeah, the characters just before we the characters there's a Kremling, like from Donkey Kong, I guess is what he kind of looks like.
Yeah, I think so.
And isn't Conker? Wasn't this before Conker's Bad Fur Day?
I believe so.
yeah.
He's like nice Conker. He's like not
Yeah.
not
Before he
piece of
became
crap.
a
Yeah, I'm
drunk.
Conker.
The clock is named TT for TikTok.
TT, that's what it is.
TT.
Yeah.
What's the chicken's name?
Oh, the chicken is. Oh God, you put me on the spot. Drumstick the rooster.
Drumstick. That's what it is.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like having
also
Wizpig's name just be Bacon. I love it.
And if you want a good listen, I think there's a Did You Know Gaming video somewhere. Timber the Tiger. That was like a OC rare made, and they were gonna like they pitched a. I think he was gonna be the main character, but then Nintendo's like, nah. How about Diddy Kong? And then
Genius.
Yeah.
And then they were gonna do a sequel, and then that didn't happen. And it was gonna be Donkey Kong Racing, and then that didn't happen. So then they made Banjo Pilot.
Perfect.
So,
All right, so I guess since that's your number 4, Tyler, I guess I'll go on to my number 4, which
Diddy Kong
is
Racing. That's...
hell no, it's Kirby 64. I love Kirby 64. It's always been one of my favorite games, probably ever. Actually, I think Kirby 64 is so fun. I love the aesthetic of the game, the vibe. The bosses are all super fun. Of course, the best part of the game being that you could combine your powers. I always thought it was crazy. That's not a gimmick they didn't bring back in future Kirby games because I thought it was such a cool idea, being able to just, you find, you either get 2 of the same power to have a beefed up version, or you get 2 different powers to you get spikes and be on fire at the same time, opposed to just having fire or just spikes. Really cool ideas. Of course, it has the Lovecraftian horrors as the final boss again, and I always loved about Kirby games how they just get weirdly
Kill
like
God.
sci-fi, yeah, pretty much like sci-fi horror at the end of them. It's the best thing about Kirby, and the music's super great. I love the little cast of characters. Also, a game with fantastic mini games to play with friends. But yeah, I feel like it's the most underrated Kirby game because I feel like a lot of people either dog on it a bit or just kind of dismiss it. And to me, best Kirby games ever made are that and Kirby Planet Robobot. So, gotta give my flowers to Kirby 64 because I think it is extremely underrated and I think it is such a fun game. Super replayable too. It's not long at all. Not super difficult, but it has a little bit of challenge here and there, of course, which is good because usually Kirby games start out super easy, gonna have a little bit tough moments toward the end. But yeah, if you haven't played Kirby 64, especially if you're someone that's been dissuaded of it because of other people saying that it's not that great, I definitely think that it's worth checking out.
I guess that means I should check it out because I never played it.
Nah, it's great. I love it.
I didn't even know I had minigames.
I am not a fan of Kirby 64. I'll just say it.
You're fired.
I know. I let you have your words. You're
like, but it fucking sucks.
I didn't play the whole game. I played like the first 2 worlds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't grab me. I'll have to try it again sometime. But
I gotta play
Did
this.
you have any specific beefs with it?
I think to me like I love the 2D Kirby games, the sprite based ones. I didn't. So this one just like looked odd to me. Mm-hmm. I get that it's that early 3D like it has some charm to it, but Kirby always has such good pixel art. It just kind of looked weird to me, and I don't know, I didn't quite love the movement of it. I did like the mixing of the abilities. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad game. If I'm gonna boot up NSO and play a Kirby game, I'm gonna go play one of the SNES ones. Is kind of how I look at it, but I don't know. That's just me.
I gotta play it and see whose side I'm on.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you think since you've never played it.
You said it's a short game?
You know, yeah. I mean, you could beat it in probably under 4 hours. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All the Kirby games are probably about that length though, except for the Forgotten Land. Honestly, none of them are super long.
I will say though, Craig, you said like people either like it or hate it. This game definitely has defenders, and I know this because the most popular video on my YouTube channel is reviewing N64 games, and I talk badly of this game, and I have dozens of comments of people mad at me.
That's awesome.
Telling me I need to like learn how to play the game and stuff. And I was just like, okay, I'll try again one day. It didn't stick with me.
Well, you know what? I'm on the comments side. Screw you.
Yeah, people got mad at me. Like, you just don't know how to play video games. It's like, okay, man.
And you're like, bro, it's Kirby.
It's Kirby. I just didn't like it, okay? I'll try again sometime.
Well, that's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of a Kirby's Dream Land 3 hater. Like, I think the game is beautiful, but I think it's probably the weakest Kirby game in terms of, like, the 2D ones. Even though, I mean, you know what I mean, like, of, like, the kind of classic Kirby is probably my least favorite one, so... Yeah. But it is beautiful, because the whole thing is, like, looks like, you know, like, crayon colorings, which is a really cool aesthetic, but it's just such a damn slow game. But, yeah, Kirby 64, very close to my heart. Tyler, you gotta play it.
I was waiting for Zach to say, Tyler, you don't have to play it.
You can report back, and you can pick a side next time.
All right, good. So that was my number 4. Why don't we go on to Mr. Zach's number 3?
Okay, number 3 is another one of the games I played as a kid, Mario Golf.
Oh, there we go.
This game is fueled purely off nostalgia for me. I can sometimes if I sit there in silence for too long, the theme song just starts playing in my head. It's like ingrained into my soul. I went back and played it on NSO, and it's like, you know, it's got its problems. I don't really understand how to operate the camera all the time to like look at where the ball is going to land. But just like, it has the good the meter system that a lot of golf games have, but just hitting the ball with Baby Mario on one of those par threes, and I just go for hole-in-ones. That's all I really do with Baby Mario because he can't hit very far. It's got that like, I don't know, it has that. I like seeing when you mentioned Smash, trying to get all these different characters to like look right together. I like seeing all these different Mario characters and like their N64 sprites. Like Baby Mario, I think that was probably the first time he was in 3D. If I could.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was in that game, so that's interesting.
Yeah, you start off. It's so weird. You start off with like
the human characters,
Mario,
right?
And then like the two human characters that have. Yeah, it's like 2 Mario characters. Baby Mario being one of them, and then like 2 human characters who are like OCs. And it's very strange.
Shigeru Miyamoto's OC.
Yeah.
The little golf girl.
Shiggy and the Motos. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Since then, this has kind of fallen on my personal totem pole though. Since playing the Game Boy Mario Golf, I think it's a more fun game, and it's a little easier to understand, and it controls a little better. I think the Game Boy Mario Golf is a better golf game, but this game to me just has so much built-in nostalgia that I still enjoy it, even if I get hung up on the controls and stuff. Has a fun putt-putt mode also, where I pick a random corner and I hit it as hard as I can and watch it bounce off all the walls and then try to get a hole-in-one like that.
That's funny. It's
really stupid, but it's a lot of fun.
That's fun. I always wanted to give it a really good, hearty try because Toadstool Tour on the GameCube is one of my... It is probably my favorite golf game of all time. I think it's so fun. So I've always wanted to go backwards a bit to play the Game Boy Color and the N64 version as well.
Golf games are like probably my favorite sports video game genre.
100%. Like Hot Shots Golf, I love playing.
Oh, dude. Love Hot Shots Golf.
Everybody, what is the name of it? I think it's Super Swing Golf on the Wii. It was this weird, random kind of shovelware sports game on the Wii, but I played it for probably hundreds of hours on the Wii. It was so fun. You just unlock these random like anime characters, and it's a great time. I just love golf games. Tyler.
Last couple things. One more thing. There are fun mini games. There's a hit through the rings mode. That's fun. And if you don't want to unlock all the characters because it's kind of a pain, you have to like beat them in like basically a one-on-one. There is a code to unlock all characters.
Oh, okay.
Unlock everything 100%. You can do it from the main screen, so you can play as Metal Mario. Because this game, the characters are like objectively better than one another. They get better as you go. So you can just do a code, unlock Metal Mario, and then have the best character in the game. So
yeah, I was gonna ask Tyler if you have any history with this game.
Not on the N64, I don't. I mean, I played it a little bit, but not enough to like fully talk about it. Like you, I played Old Stool Tour. Really enjoyed that one. It's probably one of my favorite golf games out there. But yeah, I mean, it's one I got to check out. Is that one's on NSO, right? I believe it is. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Before we get to your number 3, Tyler, I wanted to ask, because if anyone knows, probably you, Zach, is on N64 NSO Online, and they have the Game Boy Color one as well. Are you able to interact with them in any way?
It doesn't work.
I wish.
It's dumb because I think I think it's you get the characters from the Game Boy one on the N64 or vice versa.
Something
I can't
like
remember how it works.
Yeah.
It does not work.
I think you're able to transfer like your custom character from the Game Boy Color one onto it or something.
And I think Mario Tennis has something similar. And I think what it is in Mario Tennis, it just has the N64 stuff unlocked already by default in the Game Boy version.
Well, that's good at least.
But there's no actual. Yeah, it doesn't actually connect though, which doesn't bode well for Pokemon when they eventually add that for Pokemon Coliseum, or Pokemon Stadium. Sorry, but
yeah, it's got to happen one day. So, all right, Tyler, what's your number 3? Hit me.
My number 3 is one that we talked about last episode. Ocarina of Time is what I have in my number 3. I mean, we talked all about it last episode, but I'll just go along with some highlights. Really enjoyed the game. It was a fun playthrough. Really liked the whole, when you get to the whole time skip going back and forth, that was pretty neat. Bongo Bongo, greatest boss of all time.
yes.
I didn't get the shirt like I said I was going to, but still got to order it. Got to get it. Trying to think what else I want to add. I mean, I just really had a great time with it. It's one that, like Craig said, it's kind of like a nice, cozy game. You can just sit back, enjoy it. I mean, that's what I did. I was just back there, with the CRT going on to like 5 a.m., like the luscious one I am. And had a great time with it. Overall, it was really good. And it's up there in probably my top 3 Zelda games. I mean, maybe even, because like I said, Tears of the Kingdom is probably my number 1. Might be number 2. But, yeah. What about you guys? Go over some of your quick highlights of Ocarina of Time.
Of course. You want to go first, Zach? I'm sure it's on your list as well.
It is my number 2.
Number 2?
I thought about not including it because I technically played the GameCube version and just to add another game to the list, but I could not put it on there.
Yeah.
One of just such an important action adventure game, not only to me, but just the genre in general. I feel like a lot of games draw inspiration from Ocarina of Time. In my opinion, a timeless look. I know people say the models kind of some people don't like how they've aged. I like the look of Ocarina of Time and another game we'll talk about in a second. I'm sure. I like the polygonal characters and stuff. I like rolling around as Link in the field, even if it takes 45 seconds to roll from one end to the other, doing stupid stuff like that. I don't know. The playing of the ocarina that went through for a few games. Link became a musician.
Instruments, yeah.
Yeah, used to playing the actual instruments and stuff. Great game, great music. We talked about it, but Craig, I'm sure you can wrap up the thoughts on this game.
No, of course, yeah. No need to go super long since we talked about it for quite a while last episode, but it's also my number 2. So, I think we've said most of what we have to say about it. All-time classic, holds up super well. To me, it's the game I know most intimately and familiar with. I don't think I'll ever know a game as well as I know Ocarina of Time in terms of mainlining it and stuff. It's just I don't know. I play it, I turn off my brain, I beat it, and it's done somehow, just super fast. And every time I play it, I enjoy it just as much as the last. Every single playthrough is super enjoyable, whether it's 3DS or N64. That's another game that's worth playing both versions, of course, I'd say. And yeah, Ocarina of Time, just one of the greats.
It got run at GDQ this last week. I have it in my watch later. It's
nice.
the quick, like, 18-minute whatever glitch run. But I'm gonna watch it again because I like watching it every time it shows up.
Yeah, it's a great speed run for those of you that haven't watched it, so definitely worth checking out. All right, my number 3. I don't think it's on your guys' list, which breaks my heart, but I have Paper Mario. I absolutely love Paper Mario on the N64. I think that it is from the Paper Mario content that I have consumed over the years, which is not a lot, but I'm halfway through, or not halfway through, a decent way through Thousand Year Door right now, and I beat Super Paper Mario back in the day when I was younger, and the N64 one is definitely my favorite of those. I think of the Mario RPGs, it has the most charm, the best humor, the best music. Obviously introduced stuff that was used in later Paper Marios, like the partner system. I think that the secrets in the game are very well hidden, but not too hidden. It's actually a pretty challenging game, honestly, which I think is cool. Because, it's a very kiddish looking game, advertised, towards kids, of course. But that last boss in Paper Mario is tough as shit. I remember it being super duper hard, and I really appreciated that because I consider myself somewhat of a JRPG veteran. I played quite a lot, and that was a very tough final boss, and maybe I just didn't choose my level up right when I was playing through it, and I maybe screwed myself because I put almost everything I had into badge points just because I wanted to be able to use as many moves as humanly possible. That's how I like to play
I think
these
badge
games.
points is the move in Paper Mario.
Because it's like if you need more health, then you just buy or you get one of the badges that lets you have more health. Stuff like that. It's the most versatile. But as like a refresher, I was watching a video playthrough of like a bunch of the bosses in the game, and the person had like 50 HP and 40 flower points, and I was like, whoa! I was like, I don't think I was like I maybe had like 30 HP. Maybe that's why I was getting my ass whooped at the end.
Yeah.
But Paper Mario, fantastic game. I think from what I've played of the Mario RPGs, it is my favorite one. So definitely a heavy recommend to anybody who hasn't played it yet. Also on Nintendo Switch Online. At one point in Nintendo Switch Online, there was a glitch where if you hammered a random tree in like the second to last chapter, your save file corrupted, which was really funny. So maybe don't hammer the trees when you get to the Winter Village if
in
you
the
decide to play it.
The ice place, yeah.
Yeah, I remember specifically I like made a save state right before I got to that town in case I accidentally screwed something up because I was so terrified of losing all my progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any history with the N64 Paper Mario, but yeah.
I played it on NSO. I do enjoy it.
Did you beat it too?
Yep. It's a great game. It's a great game. All the things you said. I also just love Mario RPGs in general. I like Superstar Saga is my favorite. But something that I realized, well, Paper Mario specifically, that I've realized with Thousand Year Door that I think bugs me. My brain is programmed. I like when numbers go big. So in Paper Mario,
there's not a lot of big numbers.
Yeah, it's not a lot of big numbers, and like it's balanced very smart, like really smart. Where like if you get like 5 damage on something, you've messed it up. You did a lot of like, but I don't like seeing like the 1 damage plus 1 damage on a jump attack. I like seeing when games like in Superstar Saga where it scales up to bigger numbers. That's how my brain works. I
get that because it definitely makes you feel weak even if you're not.
Yep, in endgame.
You're like, I'm 10 hours into this RPG and I'm doing 3 damage. You're like,
exactly.
That's it?
Yeah. So that's like just kind of like a mental hang up for me. But mechanically, the game is balanced well to make it make sense. I just like seeing number go big. So it always
totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah, great game.
Not on your list though. Not on the top 5.
Not on my list. It's in like my honorable mention list. Yeah.
There we go. All right. So, Zach, you already went over your number 2, so yep. I think maybe we should skip to Tyler so we could go to his number 2, and then we could do all of our number 1s at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a feeling my number 2 might be some of your number 1s, but
probably not. So
maybe not yours. I don't think it'll be yours, but I definitely know it's probably Zach's, which is fair. Super Mario 64.
There we go.
Right, Zach? Yep, there we go.
1. Yep.
I had a feeling. And I was like, so it's not your number 1, Craig?
It is not.
And it's not even in your top 5. Wow. Okay.
It would probably, honestly, it would probably be like number 6, but
yeah.
But I wanted to, and like I said, game's great till you get the second half of the castle, then it becomes ass. So
it definitely slopes down.
No, but I do love and respect it, even though I like to talk a lot of trash. It's mostly a joke. I do really like the game, but it's literally like I was debating like Smash and like Mario 64, like right there. And honestly, I didn't grow up with Mario 64. I never had it, even though I had an N64. Super weird game to not have. Exactly. Exactly. My dad bought Pilot Wings. No, we didn't have Pilot Wings either. He didn't get it at launch. So, but yeah, I didn't. All of my childhood memories of Mario 64 are playing it at my cousin's. But I don't mean to take the stage away from you, Tyler. Go ahead. Talk to us about it.
Super Mario 64, really enjoy all the worlds. Going against Koopa the Quick in the beginning, that was pretty awesome. Just seeing the whole area in 3D for like the first time, that was really neat. When doing the first King Bomb boss, got the whole is L real? L is real, whatever it is. That was a whole cool theory within the game, which I'm sure everybody knows about. And if you don't, Did You Know Gaming, big video on it. What did I say? That came out. The whole jumping through paintings thing was cool. Killing the baby penguin. Shout out to that, because everybody does that. You got to drop it off the ledge. Maybe it didn't die. It was just sliding down. It's still going down there endlessly to this day. Just a lot of fun times with that. The music in the game. And then just going back and I like the replayability in games when you can just go back and do more in a level, rather than just having one objective, go beat Koopa the Quick, go beat King Bomb. And then there's all the other little hidden stars you can get in the game. That was a whole fun thing. So, Zach, tell me some of yours, since I know it's your number one.
Yeah, that's my number one. I love 3D platformers. I love 3D Mario games, and Mario 64 is one of my favorite games ever. I don't know. It just, to me, this is the perfect game for this controller. I don't, something about the long jump, using the back trigger for the long jump just feels so good.
Yeah, it does.
The controls in this game, the camera is one thing. The camera does get a little messy at times. I fully admit that, especially on some of the TikTok clock. It's hell. Mm-hmm. But the controlling of Mario feels so good. I like that he has that useless little punch where you have to be right next to somebody. It's never the optimal way to do something is punching. But the triple jump, all time great move. Flying around, you look up in the light and you get to do the flying around level in the middle of the castle is so fun. That's one thing I do like is all the random secret levels, the flying around thing I just mentioned. The slide is one of my favorite things ever. In the little painting window thing, the secret one. Obviously good music. Obviously this game was a foundation that was built on for future Mario games and 3D platforms in general. I like how you mentioned the getting the stars out of order. You can get the stars for the most part in whatever order you want, at least within the levels. You can some of them you have to get before others, but the first star I always get is the behind the chain chomp wall in Battlefield. Just get that one real quick, just for fun of it. It's just a fun game. I always enjoy running around in it. I like games where you're constantly in control of the character and you're constantly playing. So being able to just jump around, hop around, bounce off walls, even if it doesn't make any sense for what you're supposed to be doing, I like having that option to goof around in a game like that. So,
yeah, the movement in Mario 64 is just so fun. It's just such a fun feeling game to play, and I'm with you guys. I love the idea of jumping into the paintings. There's just so much about the game that's just so very charming. It feels so good. Like I said, the music is amazing. The music that plays in Dire Dire Docks is, even not being a video game song, just one of my favorite songs of all time. It's such a vibe.
Dire Dire Docks was, I tried, you mentioned that you had a Final Fantasy IV song at your wedding. I tried to get Dire Dire Docks played. I was vetoed, but that was I tried to get Dire Dire Docks. Yeah.
It's so good. And I don't know, there's something weird about Mario 64 where a lot of the levels feel like liminal spaces too. I just love that. I love that aesthetic of just weird empty loneliness, but I don't know, there's something weirdly cozy and comforting about it, and Dire Dire Docks is a great level example of that. It's just so weird, and I love a lot of the bosses in the game. I forget the name of it, like the one inside of the pyramid. I love.
Another hand boss?
Yes, another hand boss.
Yep.
Nintendo loves their hand bosses.
Yep.
I love when you get the turtle shell in that level and you're able to just fly up and down around in the sinking sand and stuff.
Yep.
Like I said, Mario 64 I think really has a bit of a downturn in the second half of the castle, but there's still so much to love about it. I love going to like Boo's haunted house, and obviously like I said, great bosses, King Bomb, such a great introductory level that shows you so much in the game of how to move around and how just things work. It really is a masterpiece in its own right, and I don't know, I just love it. It's definitely deserved to be number one on most people's list, even though if it's not personally my number one. So shout out to Mario 64.
Just to foot stomp it. It is incredible that was the launch game. That was like they figured out the 3D-ness of that game when they released it.
Yes.
So it's pretty crazy to think that's like, to some people like me, maybe the best game was the first one.
And that is super wild to think about. Usually best games on consoles come out midway, even towards the very end of the life cycle when they've really figured out the hardware, and it's like, no, they had to figure it out from the very, very start. It's kind of crazy to me that Sunshine was such a departure from Mario 64 because of how successful and well received 64 was. I'm surprised that they didn't try to just replicate that more when they went on to the GameCube.
Yeah, sometimes Nintendo, to their own demise, tries to iterate and experiment a little bit too much. But...
All right, so that was Tyler's number 2, right? Making sure I have everything on track.
Yep.
All right,
and my number 1.
And your number 1. And we already went over my number 2, so I guess I'll go over my number 1, and then we could go to Tyler's number 1. So my number 1, and this was very hard for me, honestly. I had to really sit down and think about it, because any day of the week this can change, but my number 1 is Majora's Mask. I had to go with it. I love Majora's Mask. Ocarina of Time has a much more nostalgic, special place in my heart, but I did play Majora's Mask as a kid, and, as I get older, I really just appreciate the strange design choices that they made with Majora's Mask, having way less dungeons and much more side quests, and, collecting all the masks and everything is just super fun to do. And I know I was talking earlier about how I don't like that you had to 100% Diddy Kong Racing to actually beat it. Majora's Mask, you don't have to 100% it to beat it, but it doesn't feel like you've actually beaten it unless you 100% it, and that's kind of cool. Because the reward for doing everything in that game is just so strong, and it feels so good to have the Fierce Deity Mask and just whoop total ass at the end when you finally face Majora. I love the dungeons in Majora's Mask. I think that they're all very strong, opposed to Ocarina of Time, where even though I think they're all good, they have a lot of slow points. And I like the time limit in Majora's Mask. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really think the 3-day cycle was such an interesting idea, and I love how every NPC has like their own schedule. I feel like that was very ahead of its time. Yep. There's just a lot of really cool quirks to Majora's Mask. It's one of the only Zelda games where it feels like you could play as different characters, being the Goron or the Zoro or the Deku, because how differently they play than just being regular Link. And the game is very rewarding if you just figure out a lot of stuff by yourself, not using a guide, because most of it you can figure out, and there's just so many cool rewards for doing everything in the game. It's like a completionist dream, honestly. Like, everything feels so worth doing. The music's fantastic for it. Obviously, a lot of assets are reused from Ocarina of Time, but
cool
I
ways.
Personally... No, yeah, I think it's interesting the way they did it. I have absolutely no gripes against it, and the bosses are awesome. It's just a fantastic game. Majora's a really, really cool villain. The design of Majora's Mask is so iconic and so cool. There's a reason, every person our age that's had a little bit of an emo phase has a tattoo of it somewhere on them. It's just a great time. I don't know. I just, it's hard because I almost feel guilty not saying Ocarina of Time is my number 1, but even though I have much more nostalgia and I know Ocarina is so much better, I think Majora's Mask is just the stronger game, and I think that it's cool that it's the stronger game because of the weird limitations that they had making it. having to make it within a year, and all these other different weird speculations that they had. So shout out to Majora's Mask, my favorite N64 game.
Yeah, it's weird looking back on that whole making it a year with a modern context. Like, that is a terrible thing to make those people do. But they definitely made something special within those limitations. But, yeah.
Yeah, and I know, like, it's like, oh, it's the Dark Zelda game, and it's mature, and people like kind of clown on that, and I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I like the kind of weird downer aspect of it, and people freaking out as the world ends, and then some people are like, it's a bunch of hablooey. We're gonna have this carnival and we're gonna celebrate, and it's just it's so funny. There's so much personality in the NPCs of Clocktown, and it's just a great time. I don't know. It's just, and it's hard because we have the 3DS remake of that as well, and I would argue that it's not as good as the N64 version, so it's kind of a bummer that they made too many changes to the 3DS version to differentiate it. Like, all the boss battles are different, and none of them are as good, and one of them is absolutely atrocious in the 3DS version. So if you never played an N64 game, Majora's Mask, I would play the N64 version, and then maybe play the 3DS version after if you're curious of the differences, but the N64 version is definitely the better version.
I've heard that where Ocarina of Time is more,
balanced.
Which one you like? Yeah, I've heard people didn't like Majora's Mask 3D as much. But.
Yeah, and it is still good, but they definitely overcorrected on it enough to where I'm like, you might as well just play the N64 version because I think that's the better experience.
Yeah.
Gotta say, shout out to Skull Kid, one of my favorite designs in Zelda.
Really, he's super cool.
My first experience with the mask from Majora's Mask was that one level on Smash Melee where you fight on top of the mask.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't play Majora's Mask as a kid, but I remember on Smash Melee is that one like a special event level or event match where you play on top of the Majora's Mask. So,
when I was a kid, the mask transformation animations gave me nightmares, so I used to look away whenever they would play on the TV because I didn't know you could skip them. So whenever I'd put on the Goron mask, I was like, ooh.
Those are and very also, strange.
Shout out to the unnecessary flips Link does in that game when he jumps across gaps. I think it's so funny that they added that to be like, oh, it's different than Ocarina, it's more advanced, and he's doing like a front flip as he jumps between the gaps in the trees. I always thought that was so funny. Super strange choice. All right, so that's my number one. We know Zach's number one. Tyler, what's your number one?
All right, just by looking in the background, you should know I really like Pokemon. So obviously my number one is Pokemon Stadium 2. I prefer the second one. I really liked Pokemon, being able to have it in like a 3D environment, battling good Pokemon, using the transfer pack for red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal. Little fun fact, you can actually get in Gen 1 a electric fire type Magnemite with that. Don't know if you two knew that or not. If you put your gold, silver, or crystal thing or cartridge in, you transfer to Magnemite in the game. Then if you transferred it into your Gen 1 game, it would actually be fire or electric.
That's cool.
It actually it shows type fire electric, or it's just like it acts with the type?
I believe it shows it, if I remember right. Yeah. So there's that. Just being able to go through the whole. It was kind of like how in the Gen 2 games were, where if you went through the whole Johto gym leaders, and then you fought the Elite Four, you went and got the Kanto, and you're able to go through all of Kanto and do the Kanto Elite Four, which is really cool and adds a lot of replayability to the game. And then also, it had some cool unlockables in the game. I think it was called the Prime Cup or something like that. You had to beat round 1. I think it's just round 1. And then if you beat that, you also unlock Mew and Celebi to be able to use in the whole game as rentals, which is really cool. I miss when games do that with unlockables. Now we don't have that. Now it's like, you got to buy it. You want Mew, you got to buy this Pokeball. Stuff like that. And, going back to... Yeah, there you go. I got 2 of those. Mine's a little too far out of reach, or else I would grab it too. But, yeah, and then you got the whole minigame factor too. I played those minigames a ton. Screw the ferret game. Zach knows why.
Yeah, have you ever had a direct competition with anybody on this podcast in those minigames? And maybe what were the results of that contest?
Yeah, maybe one of your co-hosts.
Still want my rematch.
Oh, okay,
Still
sorry.
waiting for today, you know. Mr. Zach Daily beating. He beat me in the mini games. Okay, I'll give him
The
that.
undefeated champ, Pokemon Stadium 2.
No, I got it was complete BS. The Furret mini game, I got like 3 Master Balls in like the last 2 seconds. It made no sense.
I was winning by a lot, and then it was like Master Ball. I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't even think I did anything. I think it just happened. It was an act of God. It just gave it to me.
That's funny.
You know, but then some of those other mini games, like I really enjoyed the counting one where you got to count how many Pokemon go by, and then at the end it's total chaos, and it's like now you got to count all Pokemon, so just a specific one. You got like Doug Trios coming up, you got things just running across, you got things like, yeah, it gets a little hectic. That one's pretty fun. It's probably my favorite one of the bunch, but I just really love everything about that game, and me being a huge Pokemon fan, I mean, why wouldn't I? I mean, 1 was great too, but 2 takes the cake with all the extra content and all that. What about you guys?
I've never played it. I need to.
Well, all 3 of us could play the mini games together.
Yeah. That'd be fun. Yeah, I played a ton of the first one growing up, but never had the second one.
Gotta put it out there, Zach. You are the undefeated champ in the mini games, but I beat you in the battle.
You did.
Just saying.
Well, I had to let you win something. I couldn't let you go.
He threw you a bone.
Yeah.
You know, with my Gengar that only has like 1 attack move.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's so weird with the move choices for the Pokemon, but
very strange.
Who's your favorite Gen 2 Pokemon? Because obviously, Gengar's your Gen 1, but who's your Gen 2 favorite?
Favorite Gen 2? I mean,
mine's Hitmontop. I love Hitmontop.
Oh, Hitmontop's really cool. He's my favorite of like the whole, Tyrogue evolution line. But I'd probably, I mean, not to sound like kind of typical, but I really like Lugia from Gen 2.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I know it's probably a basic bitch answer, but I do love Lugia. I've always thought he was cool. So sick.
I got a Lugia plush back there. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, somewhere back there. It's behind the couch. But yeah. But if we're talking about legendary, then might go Typhlosion. Really like Typhlosion's concept. But
he is really cool.
Yeah.
I hate in modern Pokemon how he doesn't ever have his fire out when he's just hanging out.
He just looks so weird.
Yeah.
Weasel.
Beat him up, he just looks like a rotten noodle. It's disgusting.
Yeah, come on. That was a weird decision to make him not have his flames out.
It was a terrible decision. Alright, so that's our top 5. Before we reveal the top 5 definitive N64 games of all time, there's no debating it because the scoring system is perfect.
Yes.
And we are the 3 authorities on N64 games, of course. We have some listener write-ins to go through, and I know Zach has some honorable mentions he wants to shout out. So, Zach, why don't you go ahead and give us your honorable mentions? Tyler, if you have any as well, you can go ahead and throw them out there, and then we could see what the audience has to say before we go over the top 5.
Zach, how many do you have?
I'm just gonna ramble off a couple games.
We spoke of like most of the ones that I had -1. My one honorable mention, which I almost put at number 5, would probably be Donkey Kong 64.
All right,
I really enjoyed that game. Big Donkey Kong fan, but it was close to making my list.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Zach?
Real quick, a dishonorable 2 games. Some of the shovelware I had as a kid. Iggy's Wrecking Balls. Don't recommend going back to it. And
that game, man. Little thing I got to throw in here. At Too Many Games, when we were at the hotel room, me and my friend Jonathan and Hector, we played that game, and Jonathan now absolutely despises that game. He's like, "This is the stupidest game ever." And then I was looking for it so hard at the convention just to be like, "Yo, you should buy that." And then like on day 2, I finally found one complete. I was like, "You need that. You need that." He's like, "I'm not buying Iggy's Wrecking Balls."
Go for complete. I kind of I think.
It was like 120 or something like that.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
A fair price to pay for Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
And then this other one is just one of those like random shovelware games I got. I don't know how to play this game to this day, and it's Wetrix.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell this is.
It's a very strange game.
Yeah.
Dishonorable mention.
But a couple honorable mentions. Really nostalgic for Yoshi's Story. It's not my favorite game in the world, but I played it a lot as a kid, so I have a soft spot for it. And then Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is a fun little.
That is very fun.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out
Honorable
to
mentions.
NSO. Go play NSO games. A lot of N64 goodness on there.
Yes. So honorable mentions from me, Mario 64, obviously, since it wasn't my top 5. I also love Yoshi's Story, another one I didn't own, but my cousin did, so I played it at her house when I was younger. Conker's Bad Fur Day. I love that game, but I've never actually beaten it, so I didn't want to give it a spot on the list because I feel like it wouldn't be fair to say. A game I've never played, always wanted to, I want to shout out just because it looks really cool, is Ogre Battle 64. I definitely want to play it, I just haven't yet because it just looks really cool, and it's like a super strange game to be on the N64, so shout out to Ogre Battle 64. And even though they're not for me, shout out to the Banjo-Kazooie games, Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, because people absolutely adore them.
And
Even if they're not for me, I feel like they deserve a mention because of how beloved they are.
and also shout out to Blockbuster for Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut.
Oh,
Gotta throw
yeah.
that in there. And
There
Stunt
you go.
Racer and Super Bowling. There we go.
Oh, unrelated, but since you mentioned Clay Fighter and it's a fighting game, also shout out to Killer Instinct Gold. Very fun fighting game. I'd like Killer Instinct. I feel like it doesn't get enough love for how fun it is. All right, listener write-ins. We got Mr. Bird Dog Gaming writing in. He said Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, Mario Party 3, and Rayman 2 to name a few. Now, Star Fox 64 didn't really get any love from any of us. I don't know if there's a specific reason for that. I have played Star Fox 64, but I played the 3DS version. So that's why I didn't want to bring it up, because I don't know how different it is than the N64 version. But if it's very faithful, if the 3DS remake is faithful to the OG, then it is a very good game worth playing. I had a lot of fun with the 3DS version.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I played on NSO. It's fun because you can play it. You can beat it in like 2 hours. It's really quick.
Yeah.
I also purchased the 3DS version. It's one of the games I want to like experience in 3D. Because I do like Star Fox 64. Probably where the series like kind of peaked, honestly. It's
Yeah, that's what
really,
most people think, so.
Yeah,
Which is
Star
kind of sad
Fox
because that's
Zero.
pretty early.
Yeah.
Star Fox Zero's trash. Yeah, and also would like to bring up, he said Mario Party 3. I know we talked about Mario Party earlier.
Mario Party
and
3 or
Rayman...
Mario Party Dice 3?
Exactly. And Rayman 2, because I grew up with the Rayman 2 on N64 as well. That game has been ported to every console and his mother and his brother. But I've mostly spent my time on the N64 version, and I really like that game. When I was a kid, I had Rayman 1 as well, and I thought it was weird how different that it was from the original Rayman game. Like, totally different vibes, art style. Like, nothing about it really felt like Rayman, which was weird. But it's another game that feels a lot like just liminal spaces, and it has a lot of weird atmospheric music. I think the combat's kind of fun, how you're just kind of running back and forth and throwing, whatever glowy balls. It's a weird game, but it's a fun time. So shout out to Rayman 2. I don't know if you guys have any experience with it.
I was a Game Boy Color Rayman 2
Oh my god.
child myself.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was the Rayman 2 I played was Game Boy Color.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Any Rayman 2 experience, Tyler?
No, Christian, don't kill me.
No. There's always time, and you have a myriad of consoles to choose from to play it on. So
Including the Game Boy Color.
there you go, including the Game Boy Color.
Is it on the
That's one to go
GameCom?
for.
I'll play it on the GameCom.
There you go. Everything needs a GameCom port, otherwise it's not a real game. All right. Jonathan wrote in. He said, "Hello, this is Jonathan, and my top 5 N64 games are 007 GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, Mario Party 2, Star Fox 64, and Vigilante 8. I'm glad he said GoldenEye because that's obviously a very beloved and popular N64 game. I don't have that much experience with it personally. I watched my father play it a lot when I was a kid, but I never actually played it myself, so that's one I would like to get around to eventually because I know it's a very historical FPS. I don't know if you guys have any experience with it.
The only time I ever had an experience with it was actually with Jonathan, and this was a couple years back. We tried playing it all together. This actually added too many games, I believe. We all tried playing it together, but we turned off aim assist. We're like, nah, we don't need aim assist.
Ooh.
Who needs that? That was horrible. Dude,
That's
we
awesome.
could. It was the longest match ever. I think we just ended up quitting because it was like terrible.
You're like, this is never going to end.
But I do need to go back and actually play through the story and stuff. I know he was doing that recently. He was having a good time with it when they added it to NSO.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How about you, Zach?
I've played the first 3 or so missions on NSO. Fun game. I'm not great with the controls. How you walk with the stick and then you have to aim and you stop and aim with the stick, and it kind of feels off to me. But that's just the product of the times kind of thing. But it's a fun
I
game.
love low poly texture Pierce Brosnan's face. It makes me happy.
The face spread over the polygons thing. That's
so
always
funny.
funny to me.
It's my favorite. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have a write-in from Patrick. He says, Super Mario 64 is #1 by a mile. I remember renting an import N64 just to play it months before it came out here. That's an awesome tidbit. I think it's cool that people were doing that way back when. He also said, but the WWF WrestleMania and No Mercy games were also some of my favorites. I've always heard a lot of good things about the N64 wrestling games. Tyler, I know you're a big WWE fan.
They're fun.
Have you played a lot of those?
No Mercy is probably the best one. Just a lot of fun times. Like, there's not a lot to it. You just play a character, wrestle together. Patrick actually just picked that up at Too Many Games.
Nice.
So,
any experience with the wrestling games on N64?
No, I do have a quick question though. How do you because obviously wrestling, how do you win? How do you do a move and how do you actually win in these games against your friend?
Pin him down, I'm assuming, right?
A meter or something, like a health thing. Like how do you pin them? Because obviously, how do you decide?
I don't remember how it is in those games, but I know essentially you just pin somebody. Go 1, 2, 3. The more you weaken them, it's harder to get up.
So it's like a health
they change it up. Yeah, they change it up in all the wrestling games. I don't remember how it is on the N64 games. I haven't played it in a while. But some of them, there's a bar going back and forth, and you have to hit A or something in the middle, and then the more weaker you are, the more smaller it is. There's some where you just gotta tap the buttons like crazy, and they change it all the time. It's kind of really annoying. They can't just keep it one way. But yeah, I don't remember necessarily how to pin in that game or how the pinning works. But
Gotcha.
Interesting, fun. All right, final write-in comes in from let's see, Jason. Jason said, this is Jason, and my top 5 N64 games would be Super Mario 64, Doom 64, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, Mega Man Legends 64, and #1, Conker's Bad Fur Day. He then said, I know it may seem like a surprise that there's no Legend of Zelda on my list, but even after trying to play Majora's Mask several times, I just hate the time constraints, and I do recognize the innovation of things like Z-targeting and Ocarina of Time. I believe it's a little overrated, along with another well-known game that starts with an F and ends with a 7. Jason, you're banned from writing into the next episode.
Jason, Final Fantasy 7. He's a Final Fantasy 6 fan.
That's funny. I'm just kidding. That it is okay to have that opinion. I just thought that was funny that he had, for absolutely no reason, decided to take a shot at Final Fantasy 7 on this N64 topic.
Him and Patrick go at it sometimes about that. It's kind of funny.
That's really funny. He's like, yeah, dude, I love Conker's Bad Fur Day. Fuck Final Fantasy 7. By the way.
Hey, it was going to be on the 64, wasn't it? So
that's fair.
Kind of.
But I just thought that was so funny when I read that earlier. I was like, oh my god, that was great. So thank you for that, Jason.
I don't know that he's talking about Final Fantasy 7. He says starts with an F and ends with a 7.
Yeah, maybe he's talking about Farming Simulator 7. Who knows?
Farming Simulator 7.
The beloved farming game. But yeah, he mentioned some here that we haven't talked about yet. Conker's Bad Fur Day I mentioned briefly earlier. Obviously, super fun and unique N64 game. I don't know if you guys have played any Conkers in your life.
I haven't. I really want to. So I want to get the game.
It is very, very funny. Definitely recommend. Mega Man Legends 64. I've always wanted to play the Mega Man games, but I've heard the PS1 versions are the better ones to versions to play. Tyler, would you know? I know you like that kind of Mega Man.
Not so much. I wouldn't know.
No, okay. I thought that you had some experience with Tron Bonne and stuff like that.
I played Tron Bonne a bit. I still need to go through and play some of the other Mega Mans.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Have you played that one, Zach? Mega Man Legends?
I have not.
No, yeah.
Oh, and Jason, I love just so you know, your reason for hate on F7 is the reason that Mega Man Legends 3 got canceled. Okay.
Whoa. R.I.P. And then he mentioned Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. Yeah, we didn't really talk anything about the N64 Star Wars games. There's, I believe, 3 or 4 of them, if I'm remembering right. Star Wars is a pretty big deal, especially late 90s. A lot of video games coming out for it that people loved. Obviously, the first Rogue Squadron, pretty legendary game. Also, Episode 1 Racer, fantastic racing game. So, multi-platform, but still very, very good. You guys have any Shadows of the Empire or Star Wars memories with the N64?
Not necessarily. I don't.
No, I didn't play any of those like that era of Star Wars games, but I do like that they're like porting all these to modern consoles now. Like I think Episode 1 Racer's on the Switch, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And PS4, so it is cool that they're bringing these games up to modern times, which is nice. And he said Doom 64. For many years I thought Doom 64 was just literally a port of Doom to the N64, but it is its own game, so it's one that I plan on playing eventually. It's one of those games that you could buy at any time for like less than $5, so very accessible on every modern console. So if you're a Doom fan, probably worth checking out.
You need to get into the Doom games. You need to check them out.
And that is our write-in. So thank you guys for letting us know your favorite N64 games. Fun to see some good variety in there. A lot of you guys mentioned things that we didn't mention, but unfortunately, we are the ones with the definitive answers, as previously mentioned. So I went ahead and I was tallying up our points while we are talking. There is a tie for what would be third place. So I'm trying to decide if we should make this a top 6 or a top 5 because of the tied point. What do you guys feel like?
I would say just go from the bottom and read like all. I mean, everything got points. So I guess just read up.
That's true.
From bottom to top.
All right. So we got a 3-way tie for number 7, which is Mario Party, Pilot Wings, 64, and Super Smash Bros. Because we all had a different number 5.
Yep.
Then for number 6, we got Kirby 64, my beloved Kirby 64. Number 5, we got Mario Golf.
Heck yeah.
For number... that's tied with Paper Mario at number 5. So Paper Mario and Mario Golf, both number 5.
Okay.
Number 4, we got Diddy Kong Racing.
Better than Kirby. I like it.
Number 3 is a 2 tie for Majora's Mask and Pokemon Stadium 2. Number 2 is Super Mario 64, or as I accidentally typed it, Super Mario 64. Because I had a typo. So that's number 2. And number 1, because we all had it, the only game that all 3 of us had, Ocarina of Time. So Ocarina of Time is number 1 with 11 points. I think that there's no surprise there. Before we recorded this, I assumed Ocarina of Time was going to be the one game we all had that was going to be number 1.
Yep.
So that is definitive. There's no going back. The future is set in stone when people dig up. When we all get taken over by aliens and robots in 100 years, they're going to find this podcast, and this is how they're going to know what the best N64 games are.
What's really cool and unique is I think we're the first podcast ever to decide that Ocarina of Time is the best N64 game, too. So
that's probably true. They've been trying to crack down for years, trying to figure out what's number 1 all this time.
We got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So Metacritic was right.
Thank you, Metacritic. I know. I'm almost sad Ocarina of Time is number 1, but it's kind of expected. It was either going to be that or Mario 64. I think anybody with ears and eyes could have seen that coming. But those games are all well-deserved to be on a favorite game list. Because the N64 might get a lot of hate, has a small library, but it has a big heart. Lots of good shit on that system. So, shout out to the N64.
And fun fact, Craig completed that set before.
That's true. That is one of the game sets that I did at one point have, because I just love to complete sets and sell them, apparently. I've done it like 3 or 4 times now.
So when are you going to sell the Vita?
I'm not selling the Vita. Nah. The N64, it's definitely not worth owning every game for that system. I'll say that. So, but great system with lots of great games. Enjoyed talking with you fellas about it. Any closing comments on the N64 and its library, Zach?
No, I love N64. It's the first real console I played. Like I had a Game Boy, then I had my sister's N64. So it's real nostalgic for me, real important to me. If you want to test out some of these games, a lot of them are on NSO, and hopefully the rest of them will be added soon. And that, like Craig mentioned, the good thing about it having a pretty small library is a good chunk of the good part of the library is available. That's true. Pretty easily through NSO. But...
Tyler, any closing thoughts on the Nintendo 64?
I mean, Zach said most of it. Kind of have a lot of the childhood memories with it, so it's kind of holds a nice and dear place in my heart. But, it's got some great quality titles, and like you mentioned, there's not too many on it, but it's got a great handful that you could have a lot of fun with.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, N64, fantastic console. Lots of great stuff worth your time on there. I really enjoyed talking favorite games with you guys. It's one of those things where sometimes I forget how many really great titles are on the system. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm trying to think of 5, and I'm like, man, I'm not really sure, off the top of my head. And it's like, I don't even think of Star Fox. I don't think of the Pokemon Stadium games. There's lots of good, especially the first party support was absolutely
Pokemon
bonkers
Puzzle
on the
League.
N64.
Puzzle League is fun.
Yes, people love that game.
Find
So
that fun,
actually,
dude.
I do want to play that. I want to play that since that's on NSO as well. So yeah, thank you guys all for joining us. Next week, we're going to be talking about remakes and remasters, some of our favorites, some of our least favorites, games we think deserve them, how we feel about them in general since we get so many of them nowadays. So be sure to write in. The description below will have a link if you guys want to give us your thoughts on remakes and remasters of retro games. I don't think I missed any write-ins this week, right? Now I'm self-conscious. Since last week, I almost ended the episode without reading a write-in. So we are A-okay. But yeah, thank you all for joining and listening to us. We really appreciate it. We're still a fairly new show. Be sure to share with your friends, leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe to Zach on his channel as well. He does his very frequent uploads. He's very good about uploading videos on the top all the time, unlike me. And he does his weekly live streams as well. That are very fun that you could all check out. Tyler will one day have a YouTube channel. We'll get there.
One day. I also heard if Zach gains 10 subscribers in the next week, he's going to do a speed run of Shrek Fairy Tale Breakdown or whatever it is.
Rumor has it.
Sure.
Yeah. He said he's going to do it.
He said it live, so now he has to commit.
He said sure, so we need Zach 10 subs. You got to hold to it.
Okay. All right. If I get 10 subs the next week from this podcast, I will stream.
All right. About to make 10 accounts.
Okay. Hey, what has to happen?
All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Really appreciate it. We see you all in 2 weeks. Take care.
Adios.